Hello everyone, my name is Aericka. Welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to share with you guys what I've been reading and watching lately. So grab a cup of coffee or tea or snack, because it might be a little chatty one. I'm sipping on ginger honey and lemon tea. But anyway, first category is movies. I watched Trolls Band Together. That was such a good movie. I mean, all the troll movies are like they're musicals, and honestly, to me, it's just like one big DJ set. Because the way that the music flow together, like, it's just so good. I'm sure another one is going to come out sometime next year or the year after, because there's just so much potential with this movie, and it's definitely going to keep going far and keep going up, because it's not over. Ooh, a more serious one is The Royal Hotel. I wanted to do a first time watching reaction to that movie, but I don't know, I just got impatient and I just watched it one night, and it was such a good movie. And I regret not doing a first reaction to it, but if you guys are still interested, I can watch it again for you guys. I only watched it that one time that night, so I can definitely go on that roller coaster again. But from what I can remember, it was about two girls who were friends that wanted to escape their hometown, and they wanted to travel, so they joined this like program where you can like work and get housed there. They ended up staying at this royal hotel out in Australia, and some interesting things went down. The only reason why I wanted to watch this movie is because I'm a really big fan of Julia Gardner. She played in Ozarks as Ruth, and I've watched that show like 4 times. It's a comfort show at this point because of her. So when I found out she was going to be in this movie, I'm like, I gotta check it out. And of course, she did phenomenal as always. For a minute there in the movie, they make you feel like, is she going crazy? Is she just being paranoid? Or is something really going down? I stood by her the whole time because everything that was going down was just rubbing me the wrong way. And I'm like, I don't care if this is real or not. We need to get out of here because the vibes is not right. It's a thriller drama. It's so good. I highly recommend you watch it. Again, if you guys want me to watch it on the channel, let me know in the comments below. Now, the Christmas Chronicles I did watch on the channel during Christmas time. That wasn't the one I wanted to do. The Christmas Chronicles was just something I watched on a whim and I recorded. And then the one that I really wanted to record, something ended up happening to it, and I'm just like, dang. So I just uploaded that one just because, you know, it didn't perform well on the channel, which is fine, but it was a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It never gets old the way different stories get spun different times, like Santa Claus. Just him alone, there's just so many movies. It was like a modern touch on the story, so I would definitely watch it again. Now, when it comes to the holiday calendar, as you can tell, I was on a Netflix binge watching holiday movie sesh, and I came across this movie because I saw Kat Graham, and you know, I grew up watching her in different shows like The Vampire Diaries, you know, every Thursday at 8 p.m. waiting for that show to come on the CW was just the moment. It was a time. But anyway, when I saw Kat Graham on the cover of this movie, I was just like, wow, let's watch and let's see. And of course, it was one of those cringy, I guess, lower budget Christmas films, but it was good. You know, her family had this calendar that they passed down to her, and different things would happen to her every single day within the Avid calendar. And like one day it'll give you like ice skates, and that day something about ice skates will happen within her life. Sometimes it was good things, sometimes it was bad things, or kind of like tragic things happening. But it was interesting. I don't necessarily think I will watch it again, but it was a good watch while it lasted. Ooh, and then I watched The Haunted Mansion because their cast was just iconic. Like they had Tiffany Haddish and so many other good people. It was a really good storyline, kind of what you expect from a Disney movie or a Disney live action, I guess, if you can call it that. But it was a great movie. Tiffany was great. It was funny. You know, she was that comic relief a lot of the time. So, but she was also good at the character she was playing. Rosario Dawson really did well. Danny DeVito just stuns me, honestly. When I was a kid, he was already older. Watching him age over time is just it's really cool to watch. The Wicked trilogy. Watched that because I read the books a couple years back. I found out that they had a movie to them. So I'm like, okay, I have to tune in, I have to watch. And I reacted to that also on the channel, so check it out. Of course, it was like a lower budget film and it had a couple spicy scenes in it. So it was, you know, rated R. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. They followed the book detail for detail. So there was nothing too surprising or revolutionary about the movie at all. But I do think it is worth a watch, at least the first movie. If you did read the books and you enjoyed it, it's just a nice visual to the book from, you know, outside of your imagination, and the visuals that the book kind of give you, you can just see it on screen. So if it's worth it to you at that point, then I think it is worth the watch. Also did Mulan 1 and 2 reaction on the channel. I grew up watching that movie, so it was just so great to record it for the channel. I want to do more Disney movies because I love Disney movies, but it's just getting past copyright is just so hard sometimes, and so I have to just spread them out and just do it sporadically because it's just already tough just doing these types of videos because of copyright. But those specifically, like Disney do not play, and we all know Disney do not play, and I don't blame them. I really don't. I was just glad that I got to do Mulan and stuff on the channel and share that with you guys. I would consider Mulan my favorite Disney princess. And I only say that because she was not even like royalty at all, you know, within like her story. She wasn't like royalty. Like Cinderella ended up marrying into royalty, just for example. But, you know, she was just, I guess, like a veteran's daughter, a famous veteran's daughter who, you know, owned a really big farm, you know. So they were doing well for their family and stuff. So love that story, love Mushu. Like Eddie Murphy is iconic, and I will be doing some more Eddie Murphy movies for sure on the channel because he's one of my favorite comedians. A Walk to Remember. One of the YouTubers I watch says that she recommended this book because it was one of her favorite books of all time. And if, you know, nobody have read it yet, we should get on it. So I got on it because I was one of the people who have not read A Walk to Remember. And immediately I understood. And then they have a movie to the book. So I had to watch, which I also uploaded on the channel. And honestly, that story was just like so like heartbreaking, but heart-filling at the same time. Like I haven't read or experienced a story like that in so long. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I would definitely recommend watching and reading A Walk to Remember if you haven't, because I was late to the party, but now I get it. I really do. And now I just want merch, and I need a physical copy of the book because I read it through my Kindle. You know, now I have to start building on my physical library collection. I feel like some people be sleeping on the Hulu movies. I don't know. Is it just me? Hulu be having some little hidden gems And one of them, in my opinion, is No Exit. I was looking for a horror winter movie because around this time it was like December, early January. So we were still in the depths of winter. And I'm just like, I'm craving something a little thriller, a little horror. So I found No Exit on Hulu, and I was just like, wow. So I recorded it for the channel if you want to watch, and it was great. Like 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 10 will recommend you go over and watch the movie for yourself. The storyline was just gripping and very suspenseful, in my opinion, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, Wish, the movie was sad. I wanted to record that for the channel too, but I just did not want to argue with Disney and their copyright. I just couldn't deal with it. So I just watched it on my own, and it's just sad, and it just made me think about reality because, you know, those Disney movies are never too far from reality, because it just showed how we can give away our power to people and things outside of us that tell us that we can't have what we dream of, what we wish for. And it was just sad to see it just visually on screen like that, and that like be the message behind it to me. And I'm just like, wow, tear. Like, Disney, they know what they be doing, and I love it, you know, I do. At least when it comes to the animated movies. The Afterburn slash Aftershock series by Sylvia Day has movies, and I found this out as I was watching the Wicked trilogy, because on, I think it was on Passion Flux, they also did a representation of the book into a movie, and it was dreadful, except for Nico. Nico was so cute. Oh my gosh. I know I had to look for something to work with to get through that movie, you know, because it was just so dreadful. Not saying that the main characters wasn't attractive. It was just like their story, their chemistry, I just wasn't about it. I didn't want to be a part of it. I was just like, see, no. But I love reading new adult smutty books because that's kind of like my trash entertainment. You know, people love watching The Bachelorette and The Bachelor and all kind of other reality TV shows. And I'm not really into that. But these books, you know, I live for the drama. Don't get me wrong. And, you know, mixed in with a little passion when they're billionaires too, I eat them up. Just that different lifestyle is just, you know, completely different than mine. I guess you can kind of get that from like The Housewives or whatever that show's called, but it just doesn't grasp me. But these books do. So I'm just like, this is where I be in the corner while everybody else is watching their little reality TV shows. But I did not enjoy Afterburn, Aftershock at all. I just couldn't get with the couple and their chemistry, but I loved her family. I loved the support they had with each other. Loved that part. But her dating life, her romantic life, I wanted nothing to do with it. I found this one on my YouTube recommended. It's called The House of the Lost on the Cape. Yeah, it's kind of a mouthful of a title to me. But it's about these little girls that end up as orphans. They get separated from their family and stuff, and this lady that lives up on the Cape adopts them or just gives them a home. The house has like this special magical touch to it, and it's pretty interesting. Like, it takes care of, you know, the people there, you know, and like, you know, you take care of the house takes care of you kind of thing, but it literally takes care of you, you know, makes you food and cleans up after you. So it was just very new for the girls and stuff. And it was just a little cute, little interesting story. I enjoyed it. I really did. Would recommend. It's free on YouTube. Oh, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Ugh. It took me forever to get into it, but I finally did. I'm working on watching the second one. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And when I watch these movies, I be just thinking like, dang, like this is never too far-fetched from reality. Like, in every aspect of my life. I always, or any kind of movie I watch, I always think like, this is not, like, they're doing this somewhere. Because, you know, everybody's perspective and reality is completely different. Even though we live amongst each other, crazy stuff be happening to people, or just interesting things that you just wouldn't believe was real be happening to people. When I look at these apes in this movie, it made me think like, wow, like them testing on animals, who knows what really goes down with that? Well, we kind of have an idea of how they're being treated and stuff like that, but it's just crazy that there's a market for stuff like that. Last but not least, we have Damsel. The reaction is already out on my channel, so make sure you tune into that. It was just a great movie to start in March, you know, like it gave very much women empowerment, because March is Women's History Month, and even though this is a drama and it's not a real story, it just made me think about just the women in real life who really be taking on different challenges like this, and, you know, breaking different generational traditions and the whole nine, and just standing up for her freedom and taking what's hers, what's rightfully hers. Next category, we have TV shows. I watched a lot of anime during the winter time. First one being Dr. Stone. Had to watch that. My brother put me on because he's a big anime head, like the biggest one I know. So we watched Dr. Stone, such a great anime. Can't wait for them to come back with a new season whenever that may be, because as I'm learning in the anime world or just in general, things just take a long time and it's just up in the air, and there's no real release date until there is a release date. Enjoy Dr. Stone, definitely recommend it. Excited to see how the story ends and where it goes, because we're kind of left on a cliffhanger right now. Next one is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, another great anime. Also waiting for the new season to come out, if there will be another one. It's basically about some kid who passes away and gets reincarnated as a slime, and he ends up having to basically save the world and create a new government. It's interesting to watch, and he's so cute, and I want a plushie of him so bad. That's it. Ooh. Up next is Magic and Muscles, but Mosh is incredible. He basically goes to a school where there's wizards and witches, people who can control magic, but he doesn't. He's just straight muscle, and he's so smart, and he has it down to a literal science, like physics. Like there's parts of the show where they show his move in slow-mo and how the physics of what he just did, how it happened. But he doesn't use magic, and he's fighting against people who do, and he's winning, and he's leveling up quickly. This is still an ongoing show because it's newer, so I'm currently watching this right now and I'm loving it. Highly recommend watching. It's just very impressive, honestly. The Devil's Line is another really good anime. It's basically about vampires who are out of control. They have cops who are also vampires, who stops them and puts those vampires down. It's like a secret, maybe like a CIA kind of thing. I'm not sure. I can't remember completely. But it wasn't known that the main character was a vampire, and he fell in love with this girl and he protected her, but eventually things was getting out of control and he had to stay away from her and all of those kind of things. It's a bit gory, a little rated R. Viewer discretion is advised. The Rising of the Shield Hero. I'm on season 2 currently. It's a really good story. Very much frustrating. Like, it will get you upset for, like, I guess the first, like, season. Will just have you just mad. At least I was, because just how they do the main character is just, or just the shield hero is just crazy. And it just gets you revved up and wanting revenge on everybody, you know? So if you're looking for something like that to watch The Rising of the Shield Hero, because that will definitely get you going, keep you interested, and you will binge watch that because it's just like, oh no, you just can't see him go down like that. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Things are getting better for him at this point a little bit. Actually, no, we're just adjusting to some new things right now. Don't want to give nothing away. On one random day, I was scrolling through Netflix and I came across Queen Cleopatra. Love the Egyptians. So I just had to tune in and watch. It was just basically a documentary where professionals kind of talk about what possibly happened to her. Now, I don't know if everything they said in this docu-series was true or not, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's believable enough for me. I guess we really won't know unless we were there, but I'm gonna take the professionals' word for it a little bit and be like, dang, even if that didn't happen to her, that's still crazy. To be a woman fighting in war, pregnant, and all. Last but not least, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender. Loved the show, okay? As soon as the trailer dropped last year, I was on it, you know, like everybody else. And I was just like, oh my God, they're doing another live action of Avatar, which is very much needed because we all know the movie did not do well, which I did do a reaction of the first episode on my channel. So make sure you check it out. The graphics and the CGI these days, just technology is just so more far advanced than when the first movie came out. And, you know, Netflix dropped some money to invest in this show, as in my opinion, I can see. Unless it's just that easy these days. I noticed that they held back this season on showing Toph. I'm like, ah, shoot. So that means we might meet her next season. So that means there's gonna be another season, obviously. But I didn't know if this was just gonna be like a quick one and done. But once I got to the end and they didn't introduce Toph and, you know, so many other things and so many side stories are building within this first season, I was like, oh, okay. So this is gonna be a thing for Netflix for a while, which kudos to them. It looked so good. It is not perfect, but it is better than the last, and it's the best that we're going to get right now. So I feel like they can only keep improving. So far, so good to me. Now into the last category, which is the books. I read the first Crescent City series book by Sarah J. Maas, which is called The House of Earth and Blood. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I did a review video on the channel, so check that out. I still need to read the next two books, but I get caught up in so many things, you know, definitely with reading. Like I can't read like two books at once. And if I start a series or a book that's connected to a series, I have to read the series through. Definitely if I get hooked by the first book, like I gotta see it through. Unless midway or whatever, it just really fall off, then I'll pause, which I kind of did with the Boss series by Abigail Barnett. I read a lot of Jennifer Armentrout's books within the fantasy genre, but then I found out that she has a pseudonym called Abigail Barnett, and she has like so many smutty romantic stories over there. And I'm just like, right up my alley. I love Jennifer, okay? She is iconic for this. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I learned about pseudonyms and what they were, and I'm just like, she's putting me on to a whole new world right now. And so I started reading the Boss series, which it has like 7 books, I believe, but I only have read the first 3 because I had to put a pause in it because there was other books and other things that I had to read and consume, and I just couldn't dedicate too much time to the story because it's very good. I would say if you enjoy like the 50 Shades of Grey series, then I think you would thoroughly enjoy the Boss series. I would say it's a more mature version of that story in a way. They go through a lot for a lot of different reasons, and I don't want to spoil anything, but if you're interested in stories like that, then I really believe you will enjoy this series. It is, again, 7 books long, and I'm not saying you have to read all 7, but read as many as it interests you. But I would say read the first one and see how you like it. They're not that long, like around like 400 and something pages. After reading an almost 900-page book, I was like, girl, Miss Sarah, I love your work. I love you. I love your work. But wait, I had to go check out another book, which I got into, A Walk to Remember. And I kind of zoomed through that because it was such an easy read and I couldn't put it down once I got started. Love my girl Jamie. She is the reason why I love that story so much. Like she just changed everything. It wasn't just Landon who freaking went through a character development. It was also me. Nicholas Sparks, amazing. He is now an author that I want to just read all of his books, which I did add to my TBR, which is insanely long, but we're working through it slowly but surely. I talked about the Afterburn Aftershock series earlier. I did not like the book. I didn't even like the story that much. I did read Sylvia Day's Bared to Me series. I do love her work, but just not this one. I just couldn't get with this one. It's like, it's just too toxic for me. I mean, it does get better by the end, and I'm thankful that it was short and sweet. I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't want to put anybody else through that, but who knows? Maybe you like the tea, maybe you like the drama that was going on between them, but it just wasn't me for me. Reading, watching movies and stuff like this, it's a way to escape into another reality, you know? And sometimes, you know, I do enjoy the more serious thriller, horror kind of stories. I live for that, but not for the toxicity. I don't live for that. And I moved on to the Deception series by Rena Kent, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was like thriller, dark, suspense, romance, very much enemies to lovers. Like they put the definition into enemies and to lovers. It's a mafia romance, so they don't hold back on the mafia part of their lifestyle. It doesn't get too gory, but it is explicit. It also covers and talks about like mental health issues and like unaliving oneself. So viewer discretion is advised, you know, just trigger warning kind of thing. If those kind of topics do not do well for you, do not read these books. But if you're good and you're cool about that, the way that it's talked about within the story is just popcorn worthy, okay? If you don't do the self-harm thing or gangster thug lifestyle, because that's all they were just a higher tier, I guess, of it, because they were working with like cartels and stuff. So they talk about all that kind of stuff within these books, and it's 3 books within the series, and by the end of it, I was consumed. And I kind of missed the world, honestly. 5 out of 5 stars. That's everything that I have been entertaining myself with recently and lately. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're interested. Leave me a comment down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.